Jalen, I don't know if they call this strain hamstring, probably looking at, reassess in a week. Gordon, more day to day. Kimba just came out of yesterday pretty well, so that was good.
Any of those guys travel or
No,
all three stay?
all thrhree stayed home.
Rob finally back in the lineup, got to put him out on the court last night. What did you see that you liked out of him or disliked?
Yeah, he did a lot of good things. We talked last night about some of the things we didn't do well, but he provided some good offensive plays at the rim, the rebound, the big rebound, the baseline catch and finish through contact, made some of his free throws, just did a lot of, things that we need him to be able to do. And for first time back, that was encouraging. Especially, we were pretty good on the offensive end most of the night until overtime, and he did a good job.
We saw more of Carson last night than we've seen in a few months. I know we haven't seen a lot of him lately, but what progress have you seen out of him?
Yeah, they zoned, and so Carson went in and did what we needed him to do against the zone. He hit those 2 threes in the first half, one on a sideline out, one on the play, and that just makes you have to account for another guy out there. I thought he did a good job offensively throughout the course of the game, I think that his time in Maine has been positive, and he'll probably get another shift up there, as Romeo might too.
Brad, Jalen strained his hamstring in the playoffs a couple years ago.
Same one.
Same one,
Mm-hmm.
same grade.
So the Boston Celtics dealing with a litany of injuries. So the Cleveland Cavaliers playing without Andre Drummond, Dante Exum, Darius Garland, and Tristan Thompson tonight. So, Smitty, the Celtics have won 7 straight games against the Cavs by an average of 16 points. Will it continue to go that way tonight?
Earlier I had the Cleveland Cavaliers winning this one, but then you gave me a whole bunch of good information. I'm going with the Boston Celtics now. I switched it up. It's just
too many guys out.
Too many guys out. Celtics win.
Look out for Kevin Porter Jr. in that way. He's been in double figures in 11 of his last 14 games. The Bucks have not lost back-to-back games all season. Will they bounce back again tonight after they suffered a loss the other night, scoring a season-low 89 points? Will they bounce back against the Pacers?
Well, I think so. They lost the game against the Miami Heat, obviously going down to South Beach off the back-to-back, and that's a team that kind of matches up well with Giannis, with all the bigs as far as wing guys that can slide their feet, absorb the bump. The Pacers don't have that many guys, and he will be attacking. The Bucks win this, and they knock down a whole bunch of threes in this game.
Anytime you hear the last name Levert, you think of good singers. But how about a guy that can sing with the rock in his hands? 51 points last time out for Caris LeVert. But will the Grizzlies get their 3rd straight win in Brooklyn against Caris and company?
This is going to be a good one. I'm looking at the Grizzlies because they're definitely fighting to be in the playoffs, and so do the Nets. I'm going with Nets as at home. I think Ja Morant has a big one, but I think it's too much Nets, and, Jared Allen protecting the paint will be the difference.
Zion versus Luka. The first time we're going to see that matchup ever. But think about this. The Pelicans have gotten smacked by the Mavs by an average of 25 points per game this season.
No, this one will be close.
It's going to be close.
It will come down to rebounding. I will say Dallas give them the edge. But down the stretch, it will be a close game, and we will get a chance to see this treat between these two young guys that I love to watch.
The Zion factor going to make that one a close game. You heard it here from Smitty first.
It'll be good.
I'm Chris Miles. Brendan's gone because he has another show to do, but you can watch that right now coming up as soon as we're done. That's Smitty. I'm Chris Miles. Thanks for warming up with us.
What do you say we tell you about what's happening as it's happening right now around the NBA? The future has arrived. Generation Next goes head-to-head tonight in Dallas. It's Luka against Zion. We'll have updates all night long, including checking in on Zion's first ever back-to-back. Status update. The Celtics right back after it after last night's disaster. While Jaylen Brown is out, Gordon Hayward is out, Kemba Walker remains out, Jason Tatum is back. Damian Lillard expected to return for the first time since hurting his groin prior to the All-Star break. The Blazers need him. They're 4 out of 8th with just 20 games to play. A night to remember, or forget if you're a Celtics fan. as the Nets get set to play Ja and the Grizz this evening. We'll relive last night's historic comeback, and we'll check in on how Karis LeVert is doing all night long. From the first tip of the night until the final buzzer of the night, the biggest moments happen right here. Welcome to your one-stop shop for everything going on tonight in the NBA. This is Crunch Time, presented by Taco Bell.
Coming down in crunch time, this is when the stars got to show up.
Fasten your seatbelt, gang. We're going down the wire.
Gliding to the air.
Absolutely amazing. 3 seconds to play. Down to 2.
A player at the buzzer. He is unconscious. Shot.
You got to love the confidence and the swagger.
There is a lot on the line tonight. Playoff seeding, playoff matchups. It is a 9-game Wednesday night. You're in the right spot. 6 of these 18 teams that are on the board tonight are playing on the second night of a back-to-back. A lot of intrigue in tonight's action. Let's get crunchy. I'm Jared Greenberg, and as always, the NBA champion Brendan Haywood is with us. We've got the 2007 NBA Coach of the Year, Sam Mitchell. We've got live looks from all around this 9-game night, plus updates all evening long. Buckle up, young men.
Let me put the seatbelt on. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have one.
Hey, I stay ready. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Let's bounce around from game to game, taking you coast to coast, setting the scene for what we got. Boy, oh boy, in Cleveland tonight. I don't know, is it a good thing that Boston's right back at it after blowing that? They were up 18 in the fourth quarter of the Nets last night?
I'm not sure if it's a good thing because Boston is going to be short a lot of players tonight, so I'm not sure how this is going to go. If there's ever a chance for Cleveland to find themselves a win, this was it.
They've lost back-to-back games. If they lose tonight, it would be a season-high tying third straight loss for Cleveland. Tristan Thompson is out tonight. Let's take it to Detroit, where Derrick Rose remains out. There's a lot of chatter in Detroit these last couple of days about Christian Wood getting mixed up with the most improved player conversation.
Excuse me?
But the conversation here is about Oklahoma City, no question, about the Thunder. They've lost a couple of games in a row here.
Yeah, the Thunder, they're not struggling. They just have played some tough teams. But when you look at this basketball team, the way they played all year, Brendan, look, they're in a great position. They're in a spot that no one expected them to be. So they're playing with house money, if you ask me.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to Indiana and Milwaukee tonight. Victor Oladipo is out, Brendan, as they take on the Milwaukee Bucks. Remember this, the Bucks, the only team in the NBA that has not lost back-to-back games this year. Can the Pacers, who all of a sudden have played really good basketball, be the first team to hand the Bucks a consecutive loss?
Well, the Pacers are really hot right now, and the Bucks have to make sure that they don't come out and have any type of complacency and start listening to the chatter about, hey, this is going to be a 70-win team, or what can they do in the playoffs. Take care of business first in the regular season. Make sure you approach every game in a professional manner. You'll be just fine. But the Pacers are going to be game tonight. They've turned things around.
We'll check in on that game throughout the evening. Let's go to the state of Florida. Orlando all of a sudden has found their offensive game. They're taking on the Miami Heat, who are looking for a 4th straight win. It's incredible, the kind of roller coaster they've been on here the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they have, Jared. But the other night when they beat the Milwaukee Bucks and beat them the way they did, that is a big win for the Miami Heat. That should give them confidence going forward. The Orlando Magic has been playing better, but if this Miami Heat, and Jimmy Butler has said he thinks this team could be special, then they got to keep this momentum going.
And if they have the idea of more than just being a playoff participant, maybe moving on to the second round, they got to start thinking about getting that number 3 seed to avoid Milwaukee in the second round. And coming into tonight, the Miami Heat just 3 games back in the loss column. Take you to Brooklyn, where it's Ja Morant in town, but the story is about Karis LeVert, who scored 37 points in the fourth quarter and overtime to rally his team from 21 down, 18 down in the fourth. They scored 51 points in the fourth quarter last night, Brendan.
Man, Karis LeVert was truly special, put on an all-time great performance. I was shocked. I knew he had game, but Sam, I didn't know he was capable of putting up a number like that in a second half like that, and then doing it in the clutch. Getting those points in overtime, the fourth quarter, very impressive what I saw from
I'm sure
Karis
Brad
LeVert.
Stevens and the Boston Celtics didn't believe it also.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's stay in New York. Will Spike Lee be in the building tonight?
No, Spike said he's done with the Knicks for this season.
Hey, man, somebody tell Spike to do the right thing and use the VIP entrance.
Hey, man, somebody tell Spike he done did the right thing. He done paid him $10 million over a 30-year career going to games. He's done the right thing.
Do the right thing, Spike.
See, I'm surprised. I thought the number would have been higher than $10 million.
Really?
$10 million is a lot to spend
A
on
lot of money to
watching
go watch basketball.
Right, but those seats at Madison Square Garden are very expensive.
But think about the amount of time for how the prices go up.
Yeah.
You know? So
He said
way back in the day, they probably didn't cost that much.
a season for those 2 seats.
Hey, Donovan Mitchell's in town, and he loves playing in this building. Remember, he grew up not too far from Madison Square Garden, so look for him to light up the Knicks tonight. New York, and they have a propensity to beat playoff teams. They play up to their competition. They've won 7 games this year against teams that are in the playoffs. Let's move on to Washington and Portland. This should be a high-scoring affair, but the real story here in this one is that Damian Lillard expected to be back, fellas.
Back, logo Dame is back. I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do. If he's going to be on a minutes restriction, or if they're just going to let him go. But Portland right now, the time is now. They have to beat this. They have to beat this Wizards team that struggles defensively, and they have to try to get back into this playoff race.
Game of the night takes us to the great state of Texas. Luka at home against Zion and the Pelicans. Guys, before we even dive into this matchup, are you surprised that Zion's playing tonight?
I am, but not really when you think about the fact that the Pelicans are in position to get that 8th spot, and they understand they've lost a couple games. They got to win this game tonight. And if they're going to get that 8th spot, they got to continue to win. And what better way to win than having one of your best players out there? They need Zion in this game. And it's another test for him, Brenda. He's got to take that next step and show that he can continue to play, and especially in back-to-backs.
Yeah, I'm not really that surprised because I believe in David Griffin. If that coaching staff says that this guy can play, then I'm sure that he's healthy. He's over the knee ailment that kept him out for most of the first part of the regular season.
Well, the Pelicans are in a precarious situation right now. This is our game of the night. Again, we'll bounce around the NBA throughout the night and pick up the tempo here as the games start to tip off. We're a few minutes away from a few of the games getting going tonight, but this is the big one that we got to key in on here. How excited are you, B. Wood, about seeing Zion against Luka, both being on the court together?
I'm very excited because this is 2 of the better young players that we have in the league right now. I think this is going to be the future in the league in the next 4 to 5 years. As we start to transition away from guys like LeBron James, we're going to start featuring more and more of these 2 guys. I think the league is in very good hands. It's going to be an interesting matchup of contrasting styles. Zion wants to do it with power. Luka wants to do it with finesse. We'll see whose style wins out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested because you see it. This is the future of the NBA. Zion Williams and Luka Doncic. These 2 guys are going to have some epic battles in the near future if they both stay healthy. And again, we've only seen Zion scratch the surface of his talent because he still hadn't gotten into game shape yet.
If you had to pick one to start a franchise with, who are you going with, Coach?
Well, because of the health issues, I'm going with Luka. I mean, that's easy. Right now, Zion Williams got a big question mark about health right now early in his career, but Luka's been relatively healthy, and then you look at the numbers he's put up in the MVP race for most of the year, you got to go with Luka.
I will go with Luka based on what Coach said about the health. Also, I don't have as many questions about the conditioning as I have with Zion. Is he going to take the summer to really address being in better shape next season? And then also from a skill level standpoint, Zion has many layers he can still add to his game. Luka's already there, and the game is all about versatile forwards that can handle the ball in the pick and roll, and we know Luka's one of the best at that.
All right, well, this is a massive game tonight for the New Orleans Pelicans. It appeared to be a week that could really change the course of their season. Remember, they played the Lakers on Sunday, a game that they very well could have won but lost. And then last night, losing to Minnesota. If they don't make the playoffs, there's a lot to talk about this year with New Orleans, but that could be the game that they circle and say, wow, this really hurt. Now, the Pelicans are not only just 4 games out of the 8th spot in the loss column, but also, remember, the Spurs are in the mix, the Blazers are in the mix, the Kings are in the mix. So how big of a game is this here, guys, for New Orleans? Are we in the territory of must-win game?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've looked at their schedule. They have the easiest schedule of all those teams trying to chase the Grizzlies down. The Grizzlies have the toughest schedule. They can't afford to keep losing basketball games. And tonight is huge for the Pelicans because if they don't win tonight and the Grizzlies win, now you're looking at 5 back with a little over 20 games to go. The math is really hard. They would have to go on an incredible winning streak. Tonight's a must-win.
Yeah, I think that we're definitely looking at a must-win situation. And, Jared, I like the fact that you brought up there are some other teams before the Pelicans because people make it seem like, oh, it's the Pelicans versus the Grizzlies for the last spot because we want to see Zion in the playoffs because his game is so flashy and powerful and everybody wants to see it. But there's a couple of steps and different layers they need to get to. Like you said, those Spurs.